So today is going to be a super valuable call, especially if you have a Skool community or if you are looking to start a Skool community, because tonight we are going to talk about growing your Skool community with meta ads. And even if you don't have a community yet, but you are just planning to launch one, it's going to be helpful. And we are specifically going to focus on free Skool communities because that's what I do, that's how I make my money, and I only want to talk about what I have experience with. So in this call, we are going to be talking about growing your Skool group with meta ads. Let's start. And then just a couple words about me. I have a Skool community about meta ads. I was doing meta ads as my job previously, and I had zero audience. I had no YouTube following, no Instagram following, so I had to use ads to grow my community from zero. And then on the left side, I included a screenshot on some of the results I had. And these are the results that we want to see on the ads. The first couple of tests you run are not going to be as good as the other ones, but I basically reduced by half my cost per signup. And then I was getting signups at $5 per signups from the US, from tier 1 countries. And then in this campaign alone, I had around almost 100 signups. And it was using a smaller budget, $10 per day, $6 per day. So with this screenshot, I just want to show that it's definitely possible to grow your community with a smaller budget. You don't need to spend $40 or $50 per day. I've been managing meta ads since 2018, so I have some experience on running ads, setting up the campaigns, and then I also see what's changing over the years. I worked with multiple marketing agencies, spent over $5 million on ads, generated thousands of leads. I was also top rated plus on Upwork, which means I was in the top 3%. And then of course, I have Wupscale, which is my community. Basically, we have over 1,000 users inside the group. And I also have active clients that I manage for myself, selling done for you services. So there are a couple benefits of running ads, of course. You can think about ads as just speeding up the whole process, because if you start promoting your Skool community and you start posting on socials, on Instagram, on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, but you have zero following, it's going to take some time. It's going to take a long time to build the following, to test what messaging works, what angle you can use in your social media posts. So ads are going to speed up the process. You'll get results faster because it really just depends on the budget, on how many people you can reach in a certain day. And of course, with this, you can get an additional traffic flow. And the more traffic we can get to the About page, the more members we can get inside the group. So of course, it's a numbers game. And then, as I mentioned, ads are going to give you a fast feedback loop. So if you are testing 5 different videos, different hooks in each one, the best performing video is going to give you the feedback that this is actually the messaging that your audience relates to, and it has the best reaction. So that's how it speeds up the process. And then you can iterate. So using your best ads, your best messaging, you can reuse that in your social media content because the ads already verified that this is what your audience is interested in. So it's also going to help you grow your email list, which is golden. Emails have usually the highest conversion rates if used well. And by growing a Skool community, you can also grow your email list, which is going to be your evergreen lead source, basically. Because even if they leave the Skool community, you can still send emails just until they opt out. So that's also another benefit to Skool. Now, you don't need to overthink it. Here's exactly how you start. I'll show my winning ad. It was super simple, and some of my members are also using the same approach. Simple ads work, ugly ads work. If you're not a designer, you don't need to worry. And this really works, so I just wanted to include some wins from the members who are using the exact same strategies. Of course, I hid their names, but inside the community you'll find them. But here's one ad win. He had 5 signups in just the first 2 days of running ads. This was his first campaign to a Skool community. He's another member who's up 52 members, and he started at 30 at this point, so it's an order testimonial. At this point, he has over 160 members or something, and he monetizing super well, so that's great work. And there are multiple good testimonials, feedbacks, comments from my community. This is exactly from my free community. You'll find the link in the description. And then this is what the members had to say. I also included some testimonials from the Google My Business profile. Now that we have that out of the way, let's start on the step-by-step guide. So the first step, if you don't know if you even have an existing Meta Business portfolio, is you'll have to set up one or use the one that you have existing. Then you need to connect your pixel, because in 2026 with Meta Ads, with the Andromeda updates, correct data is going to be the most important. So that's why you need to connect a pixel. Then you need to create the ads. The ads have multiple main parts that we are going to discuss: ad copies, creatives, and then you need to create your first campaign. So the first step to set up your business portfolio, it's easiest if you go to this URL, business.facebook.com/select, and you'll see exactly what portfolios you're a part of. Maybe you're already a member of 2 other businesses, you are just not even aware. Maybe you just have your own business that you know that you are actively using it, or you need to create a new one. So once you create a new business portfolio, you need to add the basics, connect a Facebook page, an Instagram. If you don't have an existing one, you just need to create one. I have, of course, step-by-step detailed long videos on this inside my community. And then you need to create an ad account, add a payment method, and then set up the pixel tracking. So for the pixel tracking, I included a different slide, but you just basically need to Google Meta Pixel School Setup. And I just wanted to flag this real quick. My video is actually the first result, so you'll find my video and my blog post as well. So if you follow the step-by-step guide, it usually takes about 5 minutes to set up your pixel. Then we can go ahead and create our ads. You can hire a copywriter and a designer, spend lots of money on designing your assets, or you can use AI and you can make amazing designs. As you see, this is my winning ad. I didn't overthink it, basically just a white background, 3 lines of text, a call to action button, and then 3 lines of copy. So we have 2 main parts of the ad. First is the ad copy, so we have a primary text, a headline, a description. Ad copy is the text part of your ad. So up here and then here is another text, we call this the headline, but I'll show it on a different slide. And then we have the creative part of your ad, which is going to be either a static image or a video. So that's what you need to know about creating your ads, how an ad looks like. Next, here's how an ad is exactly built. So as I said, the ad copy covers basically the primary text. That's here above the ad creative. Then you have the headline of your ad copy, which is this bold text next to the call to action button. And then you have the description, which is again just a short text that's right below your headline. And then you have the in-asset copy, which is the text that's on your creative. So the text that's on our image is a free school group and high-level CRM. So this is our in-asset copy. It's important that you know these words. So whenever you watch a course or you go through my materials, my classroom, you know what everything means. To set up your first campaign, you need to think about your advertising and campaign level as 3 different levels. So first you have the campaign level at the top. This is the overview of all your assets. So inside your campaign, you are going to have your objective and budget. You can just set your budget on the campaign level. You can set $15 per day, and it's going to automatically spread across the best assets. So you can just trust Meta AI to spend on the best performers. On the ad sets, so you can have multiple ad sets inside a campaign. On the ad set, you can set the targeting, the age, the gender, the target country, what placements you want to use. Maybe you just want to use Facebook, maybe you just want to use Instagram, and maybe you use Advantage Plus with all the platforms and placements available on Meta. As a general best practice, I suggest you use Advantage Plus, which means you use Advantage Plus placement. So you use all available platforms and placements, and you also use Advantage Plus targeting. So Meta is just going to reach every gender, every age group, and every location in the set country, and based on your creative, it's going to target. So next we get to the ads. So basically on the ad level, you can have multiple ads inside every ad set. And then on the ad, you can set the landing page, which is of course going to be your school group's about page. And then you set the call to action, which is our case. In our case, is going to be learn more. You can change the ad copy and the creative. So with a smaller budget, I suggest you usually have 5 ads per ad set, just to keep it simple, and then we test a new ad set every week. So I also included a different slide on this, on exactly how I test ads, my approach to testing ads. Now there are a bit more, as you can see the arrows to scaling, that I didn't have enough space to include. I discuss it in the classroom of my free school community. You can join with the link in the description. But as far as testing, your first campaign is going to be a creative testing. We are going to name it school group and ABO or CBO, depending on where you set your budget. And then let's say in the first week, so this is our ad set. This was week 47, so end of last year. I did a copy testing in US using a broad Advantage Plus audience. So it's really important to use a clear naming convention. So whenever you take a look at your campaigns, you know what's happening, what you are testing exactly. And then you will see inside the copy testing, I had 5 ads, all of them with the same image, all of them with the same landing page, but the only difference was a copy test. So because it was a copy test, I used 5 different ad copies. And since ad copy is the only difference between the ads, whichever ad is going to be performing the best, you know that the reason is because that ad copy is the best performer. So in this case, it was ad copy number 3. Now, moving forward to the next week, now we are in week 48. We are doing a creative testing again, US broad Advantage Plus audience, but now we are using ad copy number 3 everywhere because that was proven to be our winner, and now we are isolating the images. So each test, each week, we isolate a different variable, and whichever performs the best, we are going to iterate on next round. So in this case, image 4 was our winner, and then next week we will keep testing in the ABO setup or the CBO setup, whatever you use. It doesn't make a huge difference as long as you can create engaging ad copy and then good ad creatives. Of course, next you can scale winners, use post IDs, but that's a bit more advanced strategy, so I didn't include it. But this is what we are going to learn inside the community, and I also wanted to include some numbers that you should aim for and what they actually mean. So these are the KPIs on meta ads. Of course, you have the link click-through rates. Here we are aiming for at least 1%, and this shows how effective your creative is. So if you have a good video or a good static image, your click-through rate is going to be higher. We aim to be at least around 1%, and this is the ratio of your impressions and was the percentage that actually clicked on your landing page. So we need to track it to see how effective the ads are. And then if you are using videos, hook rate is going to be the most important to track. This is a custom metric you need to set up yourself, but this basically shows how attention grabbing your first 3 seconds are with your video. So we aim to be around 25%. So every 4th impression is going to watch the first 3 seconds of your video, which is a good metric, but the higher the better. CPC, link click CPC is what we are measuring. It means cost per click, and we try to be around $1. And then cost per mil, which is cost per 1,000 impressions. The benchmark is around $30 to $40. Of course, it's always improving, and running ads is just going to be more expensive. So CPMs are always going to be climbing. But currently, for a US, Canada audience, we try to be around $30 to $40. Next, if you can actually set up a custom metric to set up your school group's conversion rate from the ads specifically. So this should be around 30 or 20%, but of course we assume that your messaging is clear, your creative is clear, you talk about your offering, and then they go to the about page that reflects the same offer. So if there's a relation between the messaging your conversion rate is going to be higher. So from the ads, at least 20%. Otherwise, there's a drop off between your messaging or in the ads and the messaging on your about page. So of course, this all won't work without a great about page, because with the Skool Community, our landing page is going to be the about page. So every about page that is well optimized has these things, which is basically a VSL and or at least 4 slides. So give them some information. I'll also reveal my about page that I'm using, but use a VSL, especially if you have a paid community, because if they need to pay, they need to put in their credit card, the friction is higher. So you need to build trust, especially if you are not someone well known and you are just running ads to a cold audience. You need a VSL, show what's inside the community, talk about yourself, social proof, and then why they need to trust you. If it's a free community, you don't necessarily need a VSL. You can just use some slides and then show what's inside, some feedback from your customers, and then some social proof with your experience. Social proof, now I mentioned it 5 times. And your about page copy ideally is going to talk to your customers' pain points. So for example, in my case, my community is about methods. So I could talk to wasting money on ads, not knowing which ad works, or working with a marketing agency and having no idea what the agency does. They are not reporting to you, you don't know what the numbers mean, and you are lost, and your ads are not profitable. Those are all pain points. You are spending money and you don't know what's happening. So the work only begins with the Skool community. Once they are inside the community, now you need to engage your members. So there are multiple ways. You can welcome them in a DM. Ideally, it's a personalized DM with a Loom video. I know it takes some more time, but it also converts better. You can also welcome your members with a post. So I personally do a welcome post in my community every 2 or 3 days, and I tag all my new members, and then I share a valuable post that everyone can learn from. So this is 2 in 1. I welcome the new members and I share some value inside the community. Now, you can also jump on a call, offer a free onboarding call, a free call with your members. It's also a great way to engage them, and then also to build trust, show your expertise, and then it's going to help you in the long run. In the long run, to upsell those members. So use whatever best suits you. If you have a smaller community and you are just starting out, you can afford to send a Loom to everyone and then run ads and then offer a free onboarding call for all the new members, because your traffic is smaller, you don't have many members, so you can actually put in the time and then give them a personalized touch. But it's most important that we need to keep these leads warm. When they join the free community, we have to engage them. And then also email marketing, going back to the beginning of the presentation, email marketing is going to help you with this. So this is really hard to give away everything in one call, to show how exactly to run ads without going too in depth and appealing to everyone, because maybe you have never run an ad, maybe you already have experience with the ads. If you want to learn more strategies like this, you can join my free community. You can scan the QR code on the screen, or you can just search for wupscale.com/free, or you can search school.com/advertising, and you can join the free community if you want more qualified leads to your Skool group, you want to learn more about testing ads, and you want to understand data better, because this is all available in the free group. So you can just join, check out the classroom, it's all free. But if you are serious and you have a Skool community, you want to grow your Skool community, I'm actually building something in the backend. Now I'm just sharing some information, but I'm going to have a big launch on the 20th of April, on Monday at 8 p.m. It's going to be hosted live. This is where we are going to host a live call, open the doors to everyone, and we are going to launch a program that's going to be multiple weeks long. It's going to focus on Skool group owners, their specific pain points. And what we learn inside basically is my exact AI powered framework for creative creation. You don't need any design experience. You can use my custom prompts to create your ads. is going to help you create ad copies, creatives, and then you don't need any design experience for this. We are also going to discuss optimizing ads for specific situations. So what to do if your CTR is bad, if your conversion rate is bad, or your CPM is crazy high, how to deal with those issues, and then what to do next. And then what else I'm going to share. I'm also going to share the latest Meta Ads updates that you need to know. You must know this. So for example, Meta just rolled out location fees in the last couple of weeks. So now if you are advertising in the EU, you need to pay 3, 4, 5% more just to cover the location fees. So these are important updates that you need to know. And then we'll also discuss how you can name your ads, how you can track ads, so how you can stay organized, use the exact frameworks. We'll also touch on advanced media buying strategies, so day parting, using cost caps, using post IDs. I'll share my custom GPTs, custom templates, and we'll also optimize your school group, the about page, or the copies. I'll share the best practices to use on your about page, to use on your creative assets, and how to activate your members once they are in the community. We'll also learn about competitor analysis, how you can ethically steal competitors' ads, and then also how you can scale and test ads. So everything is going to be inside the community. If you're interested, check out the free group now. I'll share all that information inside. Scan the QR code and I'll see you on the next call.